What is up, everybody? It is Sam here with BFPGear.com, and you see one right here in front of me. This is the brand spanking new Planet Eclipse CS3 Pro. The gentlemen and folks over at Planet Eclipse were kind enough to send us one of the CS3 Pros for us to take a look at, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to be taking a peek inside of the box here at the brand new CS3 Pro, and we also have another CS3 here, so we're going to compare the differences between the standard CS3 and the new CS3 Pro. With that said, price point on the CS3 Pro at the time of this video being made is going to be $1,889.95, and they do come in a variety of different colors. The one that they sent us here, I believe, is going to be the Prolific, which is the midnight all black, and I can't wait to take a look at this thing because the CS3 is an absolute workhorse of a paintball marker. And without further ado, let's get this bad boy open and check out the CS3 Pro. All right, so we got here the CS3 Pro, and I do have a CS3 just right here, and we will be bringing it in to compare and contrast some differences, but let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. Gonna get that typical Planet Eclipse packaging with the cardboard box and the sleeve, and of course we're getting that heather gray case. But now, we gotta see what the actual marker itself looks like. And it is gorgeous. That is absolutely beautiful. So just like back in the day of the CS2, CS2 dominated for a hot minute there, and then the CS2 Pro comes out where they just milled the hell out of the marker and made some changes here and there. Right away, looking at the CS3 Pro, I'm not just noticing like how thin this is, but it is slightly noticeably lighter. This is Planet Eclipse's lightest paintball marker that they've made, which is fantastic. I mean, you don't want to be playing out there and then you're just like experiencing any kind of fatigue, but just starting from the bottom here, like the ASA, this air source adapter, they milled this thing down big time. Like it's this really, really flat line. Like even the little on-off like sleeve here is just way thinner and way smaller. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm also a huge fan of like the cuts, like these deep cuts into the back cap here. So you can actually just kind of get your fingers in there and just pop the cap up. It's just really, really simple. And of course, a first for Planet Eclipse, we have a deuce style trigger, which I think is a huge improvement because not only are you getting that deuce style trigger, but when we get to the rest of the contents, you do get the second trigger as well, which is that standard blade style. And then, of course, you're getting that R5 style foregrip because that is going to cover the where the eye covers would be. Instead, you now have a grip and then those little eye cover plates underneath. Real quick thing to address about this marker though is that if you do have a CS3 mech frame, it will not work with this because this does utilize that new frame design that you would find on the R5 where they completely sealed off the front. So if you do get shot and paint somehow like trickles in, it's not gonna affect your battery board up there. So that's a really cool addition. But other than that, this is one of the like, this thing is ultra thin. Like there's just deep cuts into the body here and it just looks stellar. But let's go ahead and let's see what else we get here in the package because just like with the CS Pro, you also, or the CS2 Pro, you do get extras here. So you're getting 3 inserts this time. So we've got the black insert here, that's your 689. You're gonna get the 685 blue, and then you get the 681 gold. So you have 3 inserts instead of just the 2 that you would normally get. And a new barrel here. So this is the S63, it's not just the Pro, they call this the S63 FL, and it is just this hyper milled down version of the S63 barrel, and CRBN and Planet Eclipse have teamed up. Maybe see the Eclipse there, it's a little dark, but CRBN with the nano porting on the barrel tip here. I don't know if this is going to affect the sound signature that much, but this is definitely going to prevent any kind of moisture, dirt, or debris, or any like bunker rub from getting into your barrel. So if you're playing in a big like rainy or muddy event, you don't need to worry about any of that crap getting in your barrel and affecting your paint accuracy, but also just how incredibly milled down the barrel back and the front is. It's just mind blowing. This thing is like, just having both parts in hand, pretty light. Let's go ahead and let's just assemble it. But this is a really, really light barrel. I'd almost say this is probably about as light as the die 3-piece barrel. Like, this thing has like virtually no weight to it. But let's go ahead and actually just put on the marker here so we can kind of get the full effect. But this, I mean, if Planet Eclipse is saying this is their lightest marker today, I believe them. Like, this thing is incredibly lightweight. But to do a little bit of a compare and contrast, we will bring over a CS3 here in a sec. Of course, you're going to get your barrel sleeve in the package, the full color manual. This is just Planet Eclipse's bread and butter standard. Of course, a full tube of grease. There's that extra stock trigger. That's the blade trigger. You can always swap it out if you prefer the other shape. And of course, spare parts kit. Can't go wrong with like the full rebuild kit there. Eclipse is just, they've always nailed it with their packaging. But bringing over a stock CS3, you can definitely see where the differences are. Like, even just holding this in my hand, it is slightly heavier than the CS3 Pro. But the barrel, this is kind of like one concern that I do have, is I wonder if they kept the barrel length the same, because I know a lot of companies are doing like, you know, 14.5 and 15-inch barrels and stuff like that. But it looks like both barrels are going to be that 14.5-inch length, which I'm a big fan of. So just put them side by side here, and they do line up at the top there. And then one cool thing that you're also going to get as well is you can actually use the CRBN Nano tip front here and this S63 front, and you can swap them if you want. So if you don't like the way that maybe the carbon looks, then you can always swap them around, which I think is really cool plan and idea. And of course, as you can see here, there is no insert window. So you're not going to get any like, you know, debris, mud, grime, anything like that in the window, which is just extra stuff to clean. So that is a big welcome improvement. And then of course they moved over, like I said, to that R5 grip. This is the old school grip here, as you can see in the front. It's a lot thinner, and they have just completely done away with this design. And then of course the eye covers are up there. And then you look here, you got no more eye covers. Let me just take the barrel off one more time. And then let's just see like how much they milled this thing down by. So just kind of bring them up like this, but I don't know if we can see that there, but you can really see how thin the marker is. Like, they just milled this thing down. It's almost just like an aluminum pipe pretty much. Whereas the CS3, the standard one, you got those like kind of like, I guess you would say like your like glamour cuts. But when you look at the CS3 Pro, it is just very simple, very elegant design. I honestly love like how flat this is, and I can't wait to see what printed designs they do on this, kind of like they've been doing with the R5s. But yeah, these are just super, super just milled out, and it just looks so good. Love the clean and elegant look that they did here. And then one last thing to go over that they changed up too is the board. So you do have this NXL, they call it the NXL Pro mode. So when you go into programming, this is actually a really, really cool one. You go to preset and it just says NXL Pro. And then you can also turn on Pro mode, which basically once you go and you exit the screen, if you just leave it sitting on a different screen, eventually this swaps back over to that NXL Pro mode, which just shows you a battery indicator, what firing mode you're on, and then your eye bracket. So when I turn the eyes off, you see it splits in half, and the moment I actuate the solenoid, you've got a full battery meter there. So it's just the information that you need on the field, not everything that you want. So I do like that a lot. But yeah, CS3 Pro, this is basically replacing the CS3. So pretty much this bad boy's out, and this is what's taken over in that high-end spot for the CS3. And the core, they did not change anything with the core. This is going to be that same OP core. So we'll just grab both of them and you just take a look here. Nothing has changed. They kept it the same because if it ain't broke, you just don't fix it. And this is arguably one of the most consistent and efficient cores, and it's got that snappy reactive shot that players love, and it just works in every condition. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and flip the camera around. We're gonna get some closing remarks, and we're gonna go outside and shoot this bad boy because I wanna see if the sound signature is a little bit different with this carbon barrel. So let's flip the camera around, get some closing comments, and go shoot this thing. All right, so that is just an unboxing and a little overview of the CS3 Pro, which it's just, this thing is pretty incredible. A lot of the differences that you get with the CS3 Pro from the stock CS3 is really awesome. And again, Planet Eclipse is just doing it right. They're not changing anything bolt system related because again, if it ain't broke, you just don't fix it. And this is arguably been one of the biggest and best workhorse markers since 2022. I believe that's when the CS3 came out. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but now we're gonna be getting rid of out with the old, you know, and in with the new. And I just gotta say the Pro is arguably one of the sleekest and most minimalist looking paintball markers I've ever seen. And it just encapsulates that high-end performance that you demand from any high-performance paintball marker, and Eclipse just continues to show why they are one of the most dominant when it comes to paintball products. With all of that said and done, there is only going to be one thing left to do, and that is put an air tank on a loader, go outside and shoot it. But I just got to give mad props to Eclipse for milling this thing down and making it look the way that it does, because I absolutely love the aesthetic of this. I'm not somebody that's here for like super flashy things, and honestly, this is probably like the most unflashy gun I've ever seen, and I absolutely love the simplicity of it. So again, with that said, I'm gonna go grab some goggles, we're gonna grab an air tank and a loader, we're gonna go outside and shoot it and see how the CS3 Pro shoots and feels. All right, so got my air tank, got our loader, it's full of paint, I got my proper eye protection as well. It's time to air up the CS3 Pro and shoot it. All right, loader is on, marker's powered on, and we're on the NXL 25 mode. Now it's time to let this bad boy rip. Oh yeah. So yeah, that is a CS3 in a nutshell right there. It's that really quick and snappy responsive shot that a lot of players really love. Shoots super smooth. One thing I do notice is that because it is a little bit lighter than the original CS3, I do notice just a little bit more of like that barrel rise, like that slight kick to it. But I mean, when you're playing, you're pushing these things, you know, into your shoulder, so you're never ever really gonna feel that. But it's just something that I noticed right away. But I mean, it shoots like a CS3, it sounds like a CS3, it must be a CS3, and it is in fact a CS3 Pro, arguably one of the most dominant markers that's been around since 2022 when the original one came out. If you want to pick up a CS3 Pro, there's only one place to go, and that is BFPGear.com.